Hey, this is Eric Leduc, your professor, and I know we are short on time, but there's a couple options that I just want to make available to you for extra credit on the final, and potentially you could do this instead of writing the term paper. So it's the term paper or like the final, and so I'll explain what's going on. There are two things that really relate to the module. Let me make sure the marketing and consumerism module, module 11. The first one is this documentary called Century of the Self. When I first was introduced to this documentary, I was worried that it was just conspiracy stuff. And so I looked it up, kind of did some background research. It was produced by the BBC, and on Psychology Today, the reviews of it, because it talks a lot about psychology and the use of psychology in both consumerism and politics. Um, and so the review was that it's a solid representation of Freudian psychology. So I did the research from my perspective, and it looks good. The so what am I looking for? Let me make sure I have it. This is what I'm offering. So if you do the Century of the Self, I'm looking for 8 paragraphs, and it can replace the term paper or give you 10 points on the final. So just an extra 10 points. And if you score a 95, that means you get a 105 on the final. And that will help your other grades. So each part, there's 4 parts. So if you go, and I'm using Chrome and I have ad blockers, so I don't have the ads getting in the way. You can either watch it straight the 4 hours. And if I were to do it, I'd speed it up to like 1.25 or 1.5. So it won't take, it'll take like 3 hours or 2.5 hours, depending. So you could do it that way, or you can watch them each part. So there's 3 parts. And so for each of those parts, which are about an hour long, what I'm looking for is a summary and a reflection. So 1 paragraph each, short summary, probably 4 or 5 sentences, kind of depicting what they are talking about. And there's so much packed in each of those hours that, it's not going to be hard. And then a reflection, like, what did you think about it? How does it influence the way you look at the world? Any paradigm shifts, or this is known stuff to you. It's just kind of a rehash of stuff you already know, that kind of thing. When you're writing and submitting stuff in a college atmosphere, grammar is important. If you're using Grammarly, which is another add-on you can download for Chrome, then it'll help you and it'll help me. But what I'll be doing is just kind of speed reading these, just to make sure that you watched it and that you thought about it. And then so you can replace a term paper with these 8 paragraphs, or you can get the 10 points on the final. The other option is status anxiety. I'm looking for 6 paragraphs. I think there's 3 parts, but about 6 paragraphs. Again, some summary and some reflection on it. Century of the Self is on YouTube. So is Status Anxiety. Status Anxiety. This guy is a philosopher. He's great. I really enjoy some of his work. He has a work on why you will marry the wrong person. Interesting stuff. Here is his audiobook, Status Anxiety. You can also get it on Audible. If you have an Audible account, I think it's free. Mine was free. A really interesting book. When we go into that marketing and consumerism, this one relates really well to this article, this emulation by Veblen. So it's really related to that. The first one, the century of the self is really correlates well with this dependence effect. But both of them are really good with that module, really good to help us understand why we do what we do, why we buy what we buy, all those things. So really important, interesting titles. For status anxiety, since it's a little longer, I'm not sure why I didn't want that. Dismiss. Not sure why that's there. Anyway, for status anxiety, it can replace a term paper again, or you can get 15 points. It's a little longer, so I'm going to give you a little bit more points on the final. And it's actually a shorter write-up, though your reflection paragraphs should be a little longer because they're covering more, not reflection, but your summary paragraph should be a little longer because they're covering more territory. So, so those are two options. I know we only have a week, but we just got to module 8, so to put it in context, kind of had to wait for that. Those are options against status anxiety. You can, and there's a Kindle version, so if you want to read it, that's an option. And then Century of the Self. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and ask me. And again, this is the options. And let me know also at the top of the paper. And there'll be you'll see those assignments available due on a week from tomorrow. And you can just submit them on Canvas that way. And you don't have to do this at all. If you are already like solidly booked, you got tons of stuff that you have to do already, you're already a little worried about how you're going to get everything done, don't add this to your plate. I think they're good, and that's why I'm offering them. I think they change the way I looked at the world and changed my paradigm. That's why I'm giving you these options. So that's it. I hope everything's going well. If you have any questions, let me know.